What is up, everyone? DJ Nubis.
And DJ Neko.
Here with you on the Military Radio Podcast with episode 3 of Rated R for Rom-Com, a show dedicated to her because this is her specialty, her show, her lovelihood, if you want to call it that.
It's where I force DJ Anubis to watch movies that he doesn't want to watch.
Yeah. Now, granted, some of these I've seen and some of them I can tolerate, but really, rom-coms are not my forte. It just depends on what it is, though. There's a lot of times where...
There's a couple where you've said,
well, they're so funny that, I can't help but like them. So we're going to eventually travel that path down the road. But so far, we've had Mean Girls, and then we had Crazy Stupid Love, and now we're here at one of your all-time favorites, Dirty Dancing.
For life, all time, loved it since it first came out, kind of love.
Yeah. But for those that do not know,
if you're under a rock and you have no idea what Dirty Dancing is,
it's a 1987 American romantic drama dance film written by Eleanor Bergstein, produced by Linda Gottlieb, and directed by Emil Ordolino. It stars Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, Jerry Orbach, and Cynthia Rhodes, just to name a few. And
also our girl Kelly Bishop, Emily Gilmore from Gilmore Girls.
Yep. It tells a story of Frances Baby, that's her nickname, Houseman, played by Jennifer Grey, a young woman who falls in love with a dance instructor, Johnny Castle, played by Patrick Swayze, while vacationing at a resort in a 1963 Borscht Belt. And I'm assuming that's probably
belt.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's kind of like the Bible Belt or something. Is it?
No, so a lot of these back in the 60s up in the Catskills, they called it like the Borscht Belt because it was owned and a lot of Jewish people visited, right? So that, and I mean, a lot of the Jewish community, like you could tell this was a very rich, because they were all doctors but mostly it was a Jewish resort. And they would come in from the cities, and a lot of them spent their summers there entirely, especially if they were extremely wealthy. And the father, who is, I can't talk, Jerry Orbach,
yeah.
He was a doctor and was able to do an end of summer vacation. They were there for...
And for those who don't know, Jerry Orbach made quite a living on Law and Order. Mm-hmm. So he eventually went to do that series for quite a long time. So
that's what I really... I enjoyed this movie, obviously for different reasons as I've gotten older. When I'm younger, even when I'm really younger, Patrick Swayze's just a hunk. And I've always loved dancing. I've danced many years myself, so a movie like this was right up my alley. And it didn't even bother me being younger that this was all like 60s music. There's a couple of newer tunes. I mean, the time of my life, I think it was played nonstop for a year on, top 40 radio. But as I get older and you start seeing like the details that they put into this, and the stuff that they thought of about like historically, or I'll even give you some, as we go along, some stuff, a takeaway that I just kind of really, because I'm 45 now, and the first time I saw this, I think I was 8. So as you grow up and you watch it at different points in your life, you're thinking of different things, and different things kind of hit home in a sense. Like, so I don't know if you want to go into any of your thoughts right away,
well, yeah, I mean, look, the film is good. I won't, I'm not going to say it's like one of my favorites, but it's good. It's got good acting. The story's good. It's your atypical,
good girl meets bad boy.
Exactly. And the parents struggle at first. But, one of the things I didn't know was that this was actually the first movie in 1988 to sell 1 million copies at the video store. So it wasn't necessarily like a huge hit right away in the theaters, but grew as time went on.
I'm sure I rented it at least once a month at that young age. I don't know how many sleepovers Tiffany and I had watching Dirty Dancing, because, you get Patrick Swayze shirtless multiple times during this film. He's a beautiful man and a beautiful dancer. Just, he was a dancer. His mother was his dance instructor. And then he did all those action movies too. So it's just the talent this man had was just phenomenal. I love this movie because they didn't cheese it. They didn't make it like, they didn't cheese it up and make it just like this.
Well, that's interesting you bring that up, because apparently, and again, I grew up during that age when Siskel and Ebert were like the go-to review guy.
Yeah, they had their TV show, right?
Yeah, but I always had problems with it because they were so uppity a lot of times. It was like they felt like their word was the only word that mattered to people in general.
Whatever.
But like, here's a comment where Siskel gave the film a marginal thumbs up as he liked Jennifer Grey's acting and development of her character, while Ebert gave it a thumbs down due to its idiotic plot, calling it a tired and relentlessly predictable story of love between kids from different backgrounds. Well, sure, it's not breaking any new ground, but you can take a film or a story that deals with the same thing, but there's always going to be improvements because of who the actors are, the characters, how it's written, the soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing in this.
It's all great, like 60s music plus a couple of modern new. I mean, the one song, She's Like the Wind, Patrick Swayze sang himself. And he, again, the man is so talented. He's beautiful and talented. And so
we talked about it when we were watching it, that, you know, Grey has a background in dancing, but she had to force herself to try to act like she didn't know what the fuck she was doing. Which I thought she did a good job of. She looked very awkward. You know, and again, because you're not on the set, like, I'm sure it took them a few takes for her to kind of get the groove of how to make it look awkward, but you have to appreciate the art. And the fact that she was able to do that and still look like she was learning along the way, it's convincing.
And that one part where they're practicing during the song Hungry Eyes, and like she's lifting her arm and he goes to like drag his arm and it kept tickling her. Yeah. She's just like laughing and losing her shit, and he just has no time for her. He's like, come on.
But that's a good point, because again, her starting off was very shy, very awkward and funny, but then of course you get a little bit later when they finally start connecting and she's more brazen, she's more confident, and she's, you know, obviously at this point they're lovers at this point. So, and
he took her out, brought her out of her shell. She was like, she was like the witty, brainy kid. She's getting ready to start college. She wanted to join the Peace Corps. Her sister was more like the type who is looking for a husband. And, you know, this place specifically, the waiter staff and the like front of house staff, they were all mostly students from Ivy League colleges.
Yes.
So that whole you and the owner, Mr. Kellerman, he would personally like talk to the high-end guests like Baby's family. That was Mr. Kellerman Baby's dad was his doctor. That's why he got the special treatment. They had the nice cabin with multiple rooms.
And it's, you know, Baby had high expectations because and this is something that comes up later with the sister, because the sister's a little bit more awkward. She's very pretty and very sweet, but she feels like because of Baby's success and her smarts that she's
the favorite.
Yeah, she gets overshadowed. So, you know, they have this moment where like the sister's like, well, you don't really care because now you're just upset that Daddy's not paying you that kind of attention anymore, because if, you know, he finds out that she's been not doing things she should be doing as the favorite, basically. But you know, and then of course you have, like you said, some of the staff there are kids that go to Ivy League schools, and Dad's trying to like force the setup between Baby and this other guy.
There's the son of, was it the son or the grandson of the owner? I can't remember, but you know,
but yeah,
it's like they come there and they're trying to match them up immediately. Like, this is who you belong with, and this is who you belong with, and
then of course you have some of the staff like Robbie,
that's who
try to set up the sister with.
Yeah. Lisa,
right.
Sister.
And so that's like a whole other dynamic, which again, you know, I really, Cynthia Rhodes, I think, is just gorgeous. And it's kind of surprising she didn't have like a longer career in movies. But you did point out that she was in the Toto video.
She was in Rosanna. She was the female dancer. And Patrick Swayze himself was also in the Rosanna video with the group of guys dancing. In that video. Yeah, Cynthia Rhodes is just absolutely talented. She's a real dancer as well, just like Patrick Swayze. I think that's one of the things that you can tell they got real dancers to do the movie, which I respect. I mean, I always respect when they have actors and actresses like in Black Swan. Like
I did not know that.
Oh no! Tell me what's your fun fact, baby?
Okay, so Rhodes was the singer of Animotion, at one point, 1988 to 1990. So the song Obsession, she's on that. She sings that. That's cool shit.
Yeah, she stayed in the entertainment business for a while, and it's one of those things.
But I liked her role a lot too because she obviously she looked and seemed a little older than some of the other people. Like even Robbie seemed kind of young by nature. But
there's the entertainment staff.
Yeah.
And then there's the front of house staff. And she mentioned a couple of things. Like she's been on her own. Her mother kicked her out when she was 17 and she started dancing. She was a rockette, and Cynthia Rhodes, that her job was getting people to do the dances, the group dances, and at night when they would have dinner and dancing, they would come out and dance. And that was the whole purpose of the entertainment staff. And they also, as we learn later in the movie, worked at other nearby resorts to provide entertainment. And that's really how this whole thing started. We find out that Penny is pregnant. And Baby had just by chance met these people because she was walking around and she heard a ruckus and everybody over on the entertainment side where their cottages are, they were having their own little fun.
Oh, it should be noted. I just want to put out this right real quick because she did do, like I said, the video for Rosanna. But she also did videos for Richard Marx, who she was married to for 25 years, and then they divorced in 2014. So she was with him a long time.
Wow, I didn't know she was with Richard Marx.
Yeah.
Look at you on top of the trivia, and I didn't know. But and that's probably why, she was married to Richard Marx. She was in entertainment for a while too. Maybe they just she didn't pursue it as hard as a lot of other actors did because she was great.
Well, and that's what they just said is that, when she met Marx around 89.
She probably traveled with him and
well, no, they married after 4 years together and then had 3 kids. And that's when she just raised the family. So that's why she pretty much just called it a day and did the mother thing, which I respect 100%. So.
That's why Eva Mendes hardly does any movies anymore. We still see Gosling out there. He's working, paying the bills, but Eva's she does a few things here and there, and she says it's stuff that she knows is not going to take away her focus on the kids because she's a great actress. She's gorgeous. Though Gosling and Eva Mendes and their gorgeous children. I mean, that's just it's illegal. You should not be able to have such beauty all in one family. Sprinkle a little around for the rest of us average looking people. Come on now. But anyway, back to kind of a little bit of the plot. Penny finds out she's pregnant and it's revealed immediately because they're just talking. Oh God, I'm screwing. Okay. So Baby sees that she's crying and then goes and gets Johnny. And that's when it's because Johnny and Penny are dance partners. And that's when it's brought up that Robbie, who is, I guess, slipping it to everybody at the resort.
Well, and it should be noted that they don't come out and say it, but some of these guys, some of the wives that show up at this resort with older men and basically rich guys, they end up
hooking up with the younger staff.
Yeah, have you ever saw it's not Come By My Love, but the
Patrick Dempsey?
Yeah, what's the movie he did where he was the pizza boy?
Yeah, and it was I would like a pizza with extra anchovies.
Yeah. And so it's not like that situation where these guys were providing services for money. It's just, sometimes it's just companionship. Sometimes it was
sometimes
dancing.
They with Johnny, it would be I want some extra dance lessons.
Yeah, and and so, but then of course some of that's sexual stuff because these women are just ignored by their husbands, and the husbands, as you said during the movie, when wives probably don't really care. He's here's a hundo. Go give her some extra dancing. He just doesn't want to be bothered with her.
And Johnny even brings it up in the movie, he's like, I got these women. They're just dropping money and diamonds in my pocket. And he's like, what am I didn't have anything. I don't have anything, and I got to make sure I take care of myself.
Yeah, because this is like a sort of like every summer thing. So this isn't like they're there all the time. So they rely on the job.
He's got to make sure he's set up for next summer. He's got to make sure he's got something lined up for the rest of the year. He said he was teaching at the Arthur Murray Dance School for a bit. So it's just really interesting. So yeah, back to Penny. She blurts out that she got pregnant by Robbie the Creep. And then one thing, because this is
which you have to keep in mind, again, Robbie is going after her sister now. He's trying to court her. And now her sister's talking like, well, I might let Robbie be my first. And of course, Baby's like, no, not a good idea.
Him.
Don't do it.
No, he's awful.
Yeah.
So this was PG-13, and I think they changed the rating. You might want to look this up because this came out in 87, and I'm trying to think if they actually had PG-13 in 87 or...
Oh, they did.
They did? Okay.
Yeah, PG-13, I think, started around 83 or 84.
Okay. So...
But this is a cool fact.
Go for it.
So despite the fact that this film grew over time, now one thing they mentioned was when it got released in theaters, it was mostly adults and not teens, even though it was designed to go after teens. It was more of an adult movie, which, was kind of surprising. But the budget for this was $4.5 million. It fucking went on to do $214 million in the theaters. That's insane.
That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, so that's still great because even though it went on to be the first video in the video shelf to go hit 1 million or whatever it was.
Think about how many, like I said, how many girls' nights, how many sleepovers that were like, I'm
and that's not like, and it's not like a horror film or an action film or anything. It was actually this film that was the first to really hit that mark, which is pretty impressive for video store shelves. So, but even just the 214 million, that's like monstrous for
it was. So Kellerman's was actually filmed not in the Catskills. The Kellerman's Mountain House is actually Mountain Lake Lodge in Pembroke, Virginia.
Yeah.
And you can still visit it and get the Dirty Dancing weekend. You can see Baby's cabin, the gazebo, and you can see the spot where the final lift was performed. Hint, hint, DJ Anubis, maybe we could go to see that one time.
And we did talk about the single, The Time of My Life, which was like a big deal.
Was it like quadruple platinum or something?
But yeah, so to kind of like start, bringing us around is like, Penny gets pregnant, then she has to get an abortion. Now, keep in mind, again, money is not just for these people, like, because they're not the richies, they're just the people that are trying to work.
And
they
it was $200.
Yeah, so you don't have the money to kind of do this. So obviously there's like this sense of tension because Johnny, he makes a quip when Baby brings her the money. She asks her dad for money to get the abortion because Robbie won't step up.
And she's like, yeah, Baby was like, if money's the problem, I know Robbie has the money. And she's like, he knows. Penny said he knows.
He's just not doing it. And so Johnny's like, well, did you ask Dad? So there's like this tension because of the wealth versus like where they come from. Eventually that gets passed over, obviously, but clearly she takes it eventually, but the person that performs the abortion doesn't do it. Like he's not even a certified doctor, and fucks it up. And now she's sick and has a fever.
She's in pain, and
so that's when Baby has to go to her dad and basically say, "Look, I need you to help her," because he's a doctor. And he does, takes care of her. But of course, it just as the movie goes along, it just comes a point where Baby spends the night with Johnny and somebody's wallet goes missing.
And back to the abortion part too, the dad asked who was responsible.
Yes. Yep.
So Johnny just says me, like I'm responsible for her.
But he probably thought it was more just like I'm looking after her, but then Dad took it as like he's the guy who was actually impregnated her.
So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That's all right. So yeah, so there's tension already between Dad and Johnny. Dad doesn't want even Baby around these people as it is. Like, so even when he helps her out, he's like, I just don't want you seeing these people. Like, this is just a bad just a dad saying you're too good for this is basically what he's saying. But there does come a point where after Baby and Johnny get together, they're romantically involved, and
she is learning how to dance because the night that the abortion was supposed to happen, Penny and Johnny were dancing at the Sheldrake, and
that's how they make extra cash and all that.
And that's how the romance really started. Like, you could tell at first, like, he was annoyed, but he needs the money. Mm-hmm. He needs the gig. And I'm guessing, like, it's a weekly thing where they go up to the Sheldrake.
And he's the one that kind of actually fucked it up because he was trying to tease her and say, well, what are you going to do? You're going to fill in. And both Penny and, I guess, his friend or whatever.
That was Johnny's cousin.
Yeah, his cousin are like, yeah, that's a good idea.
And then Penny's like, you're a really strong lead, Johnny. You could teach anybody.
Yeah, yeah. And I do like, there is a scene that I really do actually kind of like where Johnny is teaching Baby and then Penny's actually behind her, helping her, guide her on the moves.
Doing stuff with her mm-hmm. hips and like how to like move her hands. I like that too.
Yeah. So, but like I said, it just comes to a point where a wallet comes up missing. And then this is because one of the wives of the husband whose wallet turned up missing got kind of jilted because Johnny did not follow through with the extra dance lessons.
Yeah, that was the night he was playing poker. He's like, yeah, I'm playing poker all night. Here, give my wife some extra dance lessons. I'm sure the husband knew what extra dance lessons are.
But the irony is, of course, Baby goes and sleeps with Johnny. And then her sister comes to find Robbie, who's in bed with the wife that was supposed to be with Johnny that night. And of course, that's where is her name Lisa? Is that the name of the character?
Yeah, Lisa is
the sister. So she finds out that Robbie, who she really liked, is just a piece of shit, and that was good. So she actually, at that point, appreciates Baby looking after her.
Yeah, and then the next morning, when everybody's doing the walk of shame, that I forgot the lady's name in the movie. The wife leaving Robbie's cabin sees Baby leaving Johnny's cabin.
Yep.
And then
that's when she sells out Johnny by saying, yeah, I think I saw that guy, Johnny taking the wallet. And so, of course, this leads to him getting fired, basically.
And it was like the big gossip of breakfast because they were going, Johnny said he was in his room alone all night reading books. And the grandson or the son of Mr. Kellerman's like, there are no books in Johnny Castle's room.
Yeah. And that's like, again, this is a Richie guy who's, despite having a money and background, is envious of Johnny because of the attention he gets. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get that kind of attention. So anyway, Baby has to expose that she was with Johnny all night. And that's, of course, Daddy's like just devastated. He's like, oh my God. But, I do appreciate because at least with the film, it approaches a sort of like, usually when like a father comes around to like understand his daughter's happiness and all this with situations like this one with Orbach was done really well because it wasn't just like, hey, yeah, you're a great dude, I was all wrong. But no, he's still like hesitant, but at the same time, by the time he forgives Johnny, it's kind of like a handshake and say,
I know when I'm wrong, and I say right when I'm wrong.
And of course, he loves his daughter and still wants his daughter to do well, but that's where they had that connection. But of course, I'll let you kind of talk about this scene, which ends up
where I cry every time. That was when they were doing their dance at the Sheldrake, because you're not a dancer, so you probably didn't even realize it was the exact same dance that they did at the Sheldrake.
Well, I do because she couldn't do the lift before that.
So I think, like we were saying, Baby's out of her shell now. She's a little bit more outgoing. She learned how to dance. She really, gave her heart to somebody for the first time. And Johnny, one thing that he said to her was, you make me want to be a better person because you always see the good. You always want to fix, problems or fix bad
things. Which I liked because he was, again, speaking through the mic and telling her as well as telling the room, including her parents, like how she affected him. And like you can see how proud the mother was. Again, Mrs. Gilmore. I'm just going to call her that because that's who she is to me. But then you can also see kind of like as they start dancing again, the dances are good. Like Gray does a great job with the dances. Well, Swayze is always good, obviously. And then Dad kind of appreciates that because he starts to understand that.
He's like, this wasn't just like Johnny taking advantage of my daughter.
And he also finds out that Robbie was the one that, because Robbie gave himself up. He basically was getting ready to get a check for money for college. And then Robbie says, well, I appreciate you overlooking the penny thing. He's like, what? So
he's like, I thought Baby told you.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like, Baby has so much integrity. Like,
yeah. She didn't sell him out.
She didn't sell him out.
Could have, but
she didn't. She just wanted Lisa to like watch herself.
Yeah.
And then she didn't tell her dad. But the thing that I loved, like and it also kind of makes the movie a little sad now that I'm older. And again, all these things are like open for interpretation, but we get this wonderful, beautiful dance at the end and the kiss and probably the last time Baby and Johnny ever saw each other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Think about it. Like,
yeah,
she is going off to college. She and Johnny had this amazing experience for 2-3 weeks and both became better people and different people from it. And they, like it says in The Time of My Life, I owe it all to you. Like they have changed and they will forever be changed. And this is also the 60s. Mm-hmm. And there's no internet. You're lucky if you could write some letters. You know what I mean? Like, most likely, Baby and Johnny went off and had their own lives.
And I forgot, it's actually not the first time they've actually worked together because they were in Red Dawn.
Red Dawn, yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah, I didn't really think too much about it because obviously they made a sequel, but that was like a whole different cast.
Yeah, the Havana Nights is very different, but also set right during the Cuban Revolution.
Yeah.
Which you're never going to capture the same magic that you captured with this Dirty Dancing, but it was a really interesting story. And
it's too bad they didn't do one for these two going forward, though. I mean, obviously, life just takes you in different directions, obviously, but it would have been kind of cool to see maybe a sequel 5 or 6 years later where they were like Baby's out of college and maybe who knows where Johnny is at that point in his life.
Maybe they pass each other at the airport or something.
Or just like, maybe she decides she wants to pursue dancing more. So she'll go to like New York and somehow Johnny's an instructor there and then they reconnect and that'd be kind of cool or something of that effect.
I think it's, it's left up to your imagination.
Yeah.
But I mean, now that you really think about it, like, how are they going to live happily ever after? She's 18. She's on her way to start college in the fall.
And he's like early 20 something.
He's in let's say he's 25.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's 25. He's not going to college. He has to provide. He
still lost his job. So like, it wasn't like, despite everything with the happy ending, he still had to like move on to something else.
So who knows where he went?
Mm-hmm.
So me growing up and thinking, oh, this is it. Everybody accepted him and everything's all good. And look at this beautiful end of dance scene. And yeah, but outside of the movie, let's think about these characters' lives. Baby is from a privileged family going to college and probably never saw Johnny ever again. But, that one summer, and that's what she said at the beginning, because she was kind of narrating at the beginning, saying, it was the summer of 1963, President Kennedy hadn't been shot yet. And she was kind of like reminiscing as if it was the future Baby, like speaking over them driving out to Kellerman's. And you would assume that she never saw Johnny again, because it would be more like, that's when I met my husband, or But
let's get into our final thoughts and ratings. So what would your final thoughts about the film be, and what would you rate it?
Well, 10 out of 10, obviously. I mean, this
I knew that was gonna
is a perfect movie.
I'm trying to remember. What did you rate the first two, Mean Girls and Crazy Stupid Love?
I don't know. God,
Well, I'd have to go back and look.
We should start a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
But this is up there. Like, this is an 11 out of 10.
Yeah, for me, I can't really remember what I rated the other two. I've never given anything a 10. I won't give this a 10 either. Not because it's not a good film. It's actually pretty good. I think the only issue is it is a little dated for me, but that's normal when you're watching a really old film. You know, they don't usually always hold, you know, the time that comes with it, but certainly it's done so much in terms of, like, you know, how it did in theaters and how it is with just the fan base of the film.
Think about the impact too, the cultural impact of this film.
Yeah.
Overall, like,
so for me, I'd probably give it 8.5 out of 10. It looks like she's ready to throw a shoe at me.
Good thing I'm not wearing any shoes. I took my shoes off. I honestly can say, like, I don't know how many times I've watched this movie. I don't. I've lost count.
And keep in mind, we're only like 3 episodes in. Like, there's other films that I know she really likes that we're going to be talking about at some point. So I think I will kind of go back and check out our scores from the other two, and then just kind of keep a spreadsheet of what we got, because then by the end we can kind of like rank them for yourself and myself too, like, just as far as like what I was okay with and pleased with or whatever. But
so I think we've been doing a lot of rom, you know. Well, Mean Girls was.
So that's the whole point of the show. I
almost want to do The Holiday next, because I know you like that movie, but I'm also like, that's why I wanted you to see Crazy Stupid Love, because I thought
I had never seen that one. Yeah.
You never saw it, and it was hysterical. That whole fight scene at the end, like that build up to the fight, and fucking Kevin Bacon.
He's always getting in shit. Like, that's another one too. Like, I actually love Picture Perfect.
I love Picture Perfect as well. So, you know, we could do Picture Perfect, we could do The Holiday, or we can do Me, Myself, and Irene.
Got to do Me, Myself, and Irene. Just got it.
I mean, it's more calm than rom, but we've been more rom than...
It has its romance. I mean, fuck, Jerry Maguire could be considered a rom-com.
It is, level. And that's going to be on the list too. Trust me. I love Jerry Maguire.
But yeah.
Love.
But anyway, that's been Rated R for Rom-Com for episode 3. I can say, at least on my end, I'm sure for her, is that you should at least check this film out. It's a good flick to watch if you're into rom-coms and just good stories like this.
And if you like, for me, I love... A lot of my favorite movies involve dancing. I love dancing. I love watching it, all types of dancing. And so I even kind of made that comment last night while we're watching the movie. I'm like, it's so crazy that some of my absolute favorite movies revolve around dancing. Flashdance is going to be coming up soon. I think that might be after Me, Myself, and Irene.
Well, the only thing I got the rest of the week is tomorrow I'll be on Kevin Lammert's Entertainment Headquarters for our Retchie movie show. It's my pick this month with that. And I've chosen MS-45. So I'm going to be watching that tonight to get that done and over with so I can review it tomorrow. But I'll keep you all updated. Let us know in the comments. What do you think about Dirty Dancing? Let us know how you felt about it. Hit like and subscribe.
Yes.
And we shall see you next time on the Metal Time Radio podcast.
Just before you die.